let's begin with the actual first battle that we do get, which is Alain versus Leon. Alright, so with Leon versus Alain, it's not bad that this matchup happened. It would have been great to see Mega Charizard X versus Gigantamax Charizard. That is a dream that we had with this matchup before the episode came out. And what did we get? Leon busts out Gigantamax Rillaboom. Now, not to say it's a bad choice, but maybe we're just diving into fanfic territory, and the idea of Mega Charizard X versus Gigantamax Charizard, maybe that's just a fanfic idea. And I do enjoy the surprise factor to see that Leon owns more than just Gigantamax Charizard. He has other Gigantamax Pokemon. So it is a nice surprise factor. And, it really gets the viewer off guard. Like, oh, Leon isn't going to use Gigantamax Charizard. Okay, he's using something else. So that's a good idea. I'm not mad about the surprise factor. What is really bad about this battle? And, I will say that it is one of the worst battles in anipoke history. It is a top 10 worst battle. I'm not trying to glaze the XY anime. I'm not trying to defend the XY anime. Maybe a little bit. But what I am trying to say is that this whole tournament, beginning to end, just magnifies, solidifies, and really puts into perspective the very atrocious writing of Pokemon Journeys. There has been a writing problem since episode 1, and it really comes to the forefront with the execution of the Masters 8 tournament. So, firstly, let's discuss the 3 Pokemon Alain used. He has Chestnut, Malamar, and Mega Charizard X. Okay, fine, not bad. Only question is, where are his other Pokemon? This dude owns a Metagross. This dude owns a Tyranitar. Why not bring your pseudos to a league where the best of the best are going to be battling? Why would you not do that? Why would you bring these seemingly new Pokemon? We don't know their track record. We don't know their battle history. We're not even attached to them in any way. The only thing that gives Chestnut a reasonable pass is that maybe he caught his own Chespin after bonding with Marin. Marin or Chespy maybe inspired Alain to go get his own Chespin. Okay, fine. It's passable. Why do you have a Malamar? Why? There was no need for Alain to come into this tournament with new Pokemon just for the sake of having new Pokemon. It's not like this tournament happened in Legends ZA timeline where, okay, maybe he's going to use Mega Malamar, maybe he's going to use Mega Chestnut. There's none of that. There was no need for him to have new Pokemon. Now, I'm glad Alain beat Rillaboom because Rillaboom is one of the most cracked Pokemon in the entire anime. Me and my friend Luop actually determined that Leon's Rillaboom is the strongest grass type in the entirety of the Pokemon anime in this video that we made, quite a while ago. And 1, that speaks volumes that we included it in a ranking like that. But 2, for Mega Charizard X, not even Mega Evolved, to defeat Rillaboom, I think that says a lot. And he did really good with his Chestnut against Rillaboom as well. But then it all goes downhill from there. The second Charizard hits the field, he loses Malamar with a point-blank Fire Blast, and then can't even get my sentences out because this battle is so bad. Let me just get my tea. Oh my goodness, that's good stuff right there. But when we're discussing Mega Charizard X versus Leon's Charizard, it's no wonder that in the Pokemon discourse online in the anipoke community, it's no wonder that many fans consider it to be such a disrespectful battle. Let me break it down for you. Alain, even though he is not the strongest trainer in the world, he is ranked number 6, right behind Diantha. Alain has a phenomenal track record. Most trainers can't even touch a track record like this. Aside from people like maybe Ash. But Alain has gone up against Primal Groudon, Primal Kyogre, Mega Rayquaza. He has defeated 10 Mega Evolved Pokemon in a row, barely any rest in between, back-to-back in a slew of a gauntlet, and he came out on top. He has battled Elite Four Malwa and won. He has battled Elite Four Seabold, lost but did good damage. He's not a weakling by any means. Then you have his Mega Charizard X has gone up against Zygarde. It helped out against the moving Monolith in the Team Flare arc. Now, with that track record in mind, should a Pokemon like Mega Charizard X be one-shot by a single Dragon Pulse from a vanilla Charizard that has not even Gigantamaxed or undergone Mega Evolution? You let me know in the comments. Let me know if a Mega Charizard X, even though it's weak to Dragon Pulse because it's now part of Dragon type, should it be one-shot, keyword one-shot, by a Dragon Pulse? I can hear you typing no. I can hear you typing a lot in the comments right now that this is an atrocious battle. This is absolute slander to the XY anime. It's what makes it so bad. It's just the level of disrespect that the writers were willing to go to in order to showcase that, yeah, Leon is the strongest trainer. Ain't nobody gonna beat him. Nobody can touch him. Nobody can surpass him, except for our main character. I don't have a problem with Leon. People will always defend this battle saying, oh, someone's gotta lose to Leon. Someone's gotta be the Leon fodder. It just happened to be Alain. They said Leon is the strongest trainer in the world. It makes sense that Alain wouldn't beat Leon. I'm not saying that's an issue. I'm not saying that's what the issue is. Yes, somebody had to lose. It could have been it could have been Lance. It could have been Diantha. It could have been Steven. It could have been anybody. Someone was going to lose to Leon, and we all knew that going into this tournament, that two people were going to lose to Leon. It's the execution of this battle, and I feel that's what people don't understand about this battle. Listen, Alain, I gave you his track record. He is phenomenal, but he gets one shot by a Dragon Pulse. Alain won the Lumiose Conference. He won the Kalos League. He is champion level. Okay, that's another thing. Now, we've seen other champions and Elite Four members like Flint and Lance prior in the series lose to Leon. Their Pokemon were not one-shot, though. That's the thing. None of their Pokemon were one-shot. And with Flint, while the battle was shorter, we can likely assume that the battle lasted a little longer than what was on screen because it was already in process when they jumped to the battle. So nobody else got one shot, not even Raihan of, the Galar League being the strongest gym leader in Galar, not even he was one shot. But let's bring in Alain, who's champion level, battled Mega Pokemon, and let's disrespect him to an absurd and egregious level. It just stings. To this day, we can all get past Ash losing to Alain, in the Kalos League finals. But if people are still upset that, myself included, that Alain lost the way he did to Leon, if people don't understand that, I think it's you fail to understand the history of the Pokemon anime, and I think you fail to understand execution. It's not about what was written. It's about how it was written. And Alain's loss was written in the most disrespectful way, making his Mega Charizard X of all Pokemon, which we deemed, I believe, the strongest Dragon type in the Pokemon anime in that same video. It's just not acceptable. And it's also rushed. It's also rushed because we get the introduction of the Masters 8 tournament, the introduction of Hop, and the first round 1 battle all in one episode. The beginning of the Masters 8 has no room to breathe. It has no sense of pacing. And that is a big reason that the rest of the league is just written so poorly. They could have fixed it after this first episode, but they didn't. Literally, what is this? The Kalos League? I spoke about how the Kalos League was rushed. How, they crammed so much into the first 2 episodes and then boom, we're in the semifinals. Yes, after Alain versus Leon, all the other battles get full time dedicated to them. But why not do that for the first one? Alain doesn't even get to have a full proper episode dedicated to his own battle. He literally just shows up to lose to Leon. And it's disrespectful. And I can't defend that. I can't defend that. It's a Journey's L. It's bad. And while, Masters 8 was written poorly for the entirety of the series, and again, there's back-end production issues, but you have an introduction of a 13-episode League arc, the tournament to end all tournaments nonetheless, and you start off like this. You start off introducing a character we didn't need, you rush the introduction of the champions, and you rush the first round 1 battle, and disrespect such an amazing legacy character nonetheless. There's no way to defend Alain vs Leon. I've yet to find any way to do so. I do not think there is a way to do so. And it is just poor execution from the Pokemon writing staff. That's all there is to it.